So here we go. Just for reference purposes, this is my current PlayStation 4. It's an original PlayStation 4, not a launch PlayStation 4, although I did have a launch PlayStation 4 that I unboxed on this channel. I sold that, and then several months later I purchased this one. Maybe one day I'll put the unboxing of this online, but I don't feel the need to it at this point. But this is my current PlayStation 4 box, and this is the PlayStation Pro box, as you can see here. Now, the boxes are pretty much the same width, but height-wise, you can see that the PlayStation 4 Pro box is a little bit taller. And that's because the PlayStation 4 is actually a little bit bigger than the original PlayStation, and we'll take a look at that in a second. So the depth of the boxes, the PlayStation 4 Pro thickness of the box is a little bit thicker than the original PlayStation, and that, get my trusty measuring device out here, is approximately 3/4 of an inch or 2 centimeters, for those of you who care. So let's take a very quick tour around this box. You see PlayStation 4 Pro, a representation of the PlayStation itself, as well as the new Dualshock 4. Over here it says the vertical stand is sold separately. I might want to get my hands on one of those. Depending on how this fits into my entertainment system, I might actually put it vertically. On the right side of the box you have PlayStation 4 Pro, jet black 1 terabyte. On the top of the box, pretty much the same, as you can see there, as well as the right side of the box. Well, actually the right side of the box has a representation of what you get in here. You get a PlayStation 4 Pro, DualShock 4, a headphone, you get an HDMI cord, you get a power cord and a USB cord, as well as probably documentation there. So, unfortunately my box is a little bit beat up. I really don't know why. I mean, there's no dents or dings in it, but it looks like it has been slid around considerably. There's wear on the box and whatnot, and there's also the sticker on here. I tried to get it off, but it's probably going to ruin the box if I pull it off, so I'm just going to leave it on there. So we have a big ad for Call of Duty Infinite Warfare. I'm really not a Call of Duty fan, so that is one game I will not be getting. You have Watch Dogs 2 here, another game I'm not going to be getting. Horizon Zero Dawn, I will be getting that game, and then Mass Effect Andromeda, I will not be getting that game either. Nothing against those games, it's just not my style of game. I don't really personally care to play any of those. It says PlayStation 4 Pro, Pro Enhanced over here, Game Worlds Come Alive. PS4 Pro gets you closer to your game, heighten your experiences, enrich your adventures. Let the supercharged PS4 Pro lead the way. So over here we have some bullet points as to why to pick the Pro, which is $100 more than the regular PlayStation. So you have spectacular graphics, explore vivid game worlds with rich visuals heightened by PlayStation 4 Pro. The PlayStation 4 Pro has a beefier graphics chip on it. Enhanced gameplay, support for faster frame rates, delivers super sharp action for select PS4 games. So a PlayStation 4 game has to be PlayStation 4 Pro compatible in order to take advantage of the beefier system. Of course, from this point on, we're going to be seeing probably a lot of games, at least the first-party games, doing that. Right now, I think the only game that I have that will take advantage of the Pro is Until Dawn Rush of Blood, and that's for the PlayStation VR. One unified gaming community compatible with every PlayStation 4 game. Play online with other PS4 players with PlayStation Plus. So again, with this mid-generation upgrade, Sony is not leaving current PS4 owners in the dust. So that's really something that's important to them, that every PlayStation 4 game will run on a regular PlayStation 4 or PlayStation 4 Pro. Extraordinary entertainment with up to 4K streaming and 4K auto upscaling for video content. Now currently I do not have a 4K television set, and I don't anticipate buying one for quite some time, because really I might just wait until the 8K sets come out, which should be maybe, I know they are already available in Asia, but before they become mainstream, probably be another 3 years or so. So I'm currently satisfied with my 1080p screens. So why would I get a PlayStation 4 Pro if I don't have any 4K screens in the house? Well, the reason for that is because 1080p gaming will be better with the PlayStation 4 Pro. So, enough of that. Let's get this thing open, finally. So one quick note. The old PlayStation box the printed material, the printed part was actually on the cardboard itself. With the PlayStation VR, which I noticed, and also now the PlayStation 4 Pro, you have a thinner cardboard case which has all of your printed materials on here, you know, advertising Call of Duty and whatnot. And then inside you're going to have another box which actually houses everything. And I think it's smart that Sony did that because they can actually change the outer shell here pretty easily with whatever specials or game advertisements that they have at the time, and then have that inner box the same throughout the entire time. So let's get this open. So we have a very plain looking PS4 Pro box, and this is your corrugated cardboard here. So let's get this open and see what we have on the inside. First thing that pops out, documentation. Alright, up next we have a USB to micro USB cord. Headphones, power cord, the brand new Dualshock 4, and then we have an HDMI cord, assumably HDMI 2.0 compatible. So we have one more piece of documentation in here, the best place to play. And the main event itself is the PlayStation 4 Pro here. So my first impression out of the gate is I really like the design of the PlayStation 4 Pro. I always thought that the original PlayStation 4 was one of the best looking consoles ever made. Your opinion might differ. And I thought that the design choices on this, by looking at it on photographs online, I thought that they kind of took a step back with it, but now actually seeing it in person, I really like it. I like the matte black, which they had moved to a couple of years back, or maybe at least a year ago. The hard drive case used to be very glossy, or hard drive cover on the PlayStation 4 used to be very glossy. Then they went to a matte black. The current one that I have is a glossy cover. So they have gone to this matte black a couple years back, but I really like the design of this. The PlayStation logo in here, it's kind of shiny in there, and it is embossed into the plastic here. So that is very stylish looking, I think. And then the front of the console here, we have, you know, that three-tiered effect. You have your two USB ports on the front here, you have your Blu-ray drive here, and then you have physical buttons here. So this is your eject, and then this is the power button over here. And of course it is still slot loading, a slot loading Blu-ray player. So I'm glad that there are physical buttons here. The PlayStation 4 that I currently have does have that eject problem that you might have heard of. It's fairly common because of the eject button, and it's a touch-sensitive eject button, and sometimes it'll just eject a disc randomly. This is the side, the right side, or what could be the bottom of the console, depending on how you have it situated. The rear of the console has your power port here, HDMI port here, the PlayStation camera port here, optical out here. You have a back-mounted USB port, which for those of us who have PlayStation VR, it's very welcome because now you can plug the PlayStation VR into the back of this. Then you have your Ethernet jack here. I haven't decided if I'm going to actually use an Ethernet jack. I have been using wireless up until this point. Now this would be the right side of the console or the top, depending on how you situate it. So pretty much just your two trenches here and everything. You have your venting, of course, in those two trenches. Then you have some branding in here, HDMI, Dolby DTS HD, Dolby True HD, and Blu-ray disc. Now the bottom of the console is here, or the side, depending, and you have the characteristic PlayStation buttons, the circle, square, X, and triangle, you have them all represented there, and they're actually the feet, and I think that's an excellent choice, the way they did that. And of course you do still have that PlayStation logo and that glossy plastic on the bottom, but again, if you situate it this way and stand it up on its side, that would be one of the sides of the console. For now, I'm going to be keeping it flat. So here we go, PlayStation 4 Pro and original PlayStation 4, and my original PlayStation 4 is a little bit dusty, but I think I cleaned most of it off. Some of that dust got onto the PlayStation 4 Pro. But anyway, the size difference is pretty visible. You can see that the PlayStation 4 Pro is a little bit larger than the original PlayStation, pretty much in every dimension. So it's a little taller by a very slight margin. It's a little deeper, probably by maybe a ½ inch or so. And it is also wider by maybe about a ½ to 3/4 of an inch. So it is a bigger, beefier console, and that is to be expected because it is the first generation of this newer, more powerful PlayStation 4 Pro. You can imagine over time this will shrink down. Unfortunately, the PlayStation VR components, the external box, the companion box that you get with the PlayStation 4 VR, is not incorporated into this. That would have been nice. Of course, a lot of people wished that the PlayStation 4 Pro would have a Ultra HD Blu-ray player in it. That is not the case. It's just a regular Blu-ray player. For me, that's just fine because, again, I don't have a 4K television set. But for those who do, I kind of understand where they're coming from. But you are getting the most powerful console on the market at the time of filming this video with the PlayStation 4 Pro. So that is the upside. And of course, whether you have a 1080p screen or a 4K screen, your visuals will be better with the PlayStation 4 Pro. Now, in case I missed it, PS4 is etched into the front of the console there. And apparently back here is the hard drive bay. And that's where it has this little piece of plastic over it. So upon first look, it looks like you remove this piece here, and then there's a screw here, which you would undo, and I would imagine the entire caddy will come out, and then you can remove your 1 terabyte hard drive, which I might be doing in a future video. I'm going to keep that sticker on there for right now. So here's the Dualshock 4 that came with my original PlayStation 4. Here's the Dualshock 4 that came with the PlayStation 4 Pro. Now, at first glance, they look pretty much identical. But of course, the difference here is that there is a little window there that we can't see, but there's a little bit of transparency on the touchpad here, up top here, where this light will shine through the top. And so that's going to give players an indication of a couple of things. On some games, you have this light that changes color depending on your health, so you can just glance down and see that. Of course, if you're playing multiplayer games, you also have the ability to see which player you are, I believe, on some games. But other than that, I mean, it feels like a regular DualShock 4 and looks identical to a regular DualShock 4. So at first glance, maybe the buttons, maybe the triggers here are a little more gray than the original ones. So this is more of a gray tone and this is more of a black tone. But at first glance, I really can't see any difference between the way they look. Again, this might be, the D-pad over here might be a little more gray, and this might be a little more black. And the buttons as well. Buttons are a little more gray. So really, color is the only difference. The touchpads look the same. Obviously, they're not, because you do have that transparency up here, which we can't tell right now. But that is the brand new DualShock. So there we go, the brand new PlayStation 4 Pro. And that's going to do it for this video. So if you have any questions or comments, please post them down below. If you like what you see, please subscribe. And as always, if you want to help out this channel, you can give me a thumbs up, you can favorite this video, you can share this video on your favorite social media, or you could leave me a tip on my YouTube page, or you could actually join my Patreon, all of which is greatly appreciated. So thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.